Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. Today we are zoomed into the subject matter a little bit more than usual, and that is because today we are discussing SLGs, small leather goods, or, well, not necessarily leather, but at least small goods. It's something that is often discussed in the luxury community, even when channels are mostly about handbags. It seems to be kind of an obvious thing that if you have a handbag collection, you will also have an SLG collection. This is not really the case for me. And today I wanted to do a video about why SLGs is not something that I really tend to spend big money on. And I wanted to show you my very tiny SLG collection. And this doesn't include all of the pieces that I have. For example, I have this full-size wallet, which I will often use for demonstration purposes if I'm doing a what fits in a video for a bag. This is a full-size wallet from Oilily. There was a point in time when I was much younger and I really liked using these type of full-size wallets. They were even so big that I would often fit my phone into this pocket. I suppose that phones were a little bit smaller back then, like a decade ago. But I've become pretty minimalistic in terms of what I feel I need to carry in a wallet of some sort or an SLG. And that's why I still have this one, but I never ever use it. But anyway, moving on to 5 reasons why I don't spend a lot of money on SLGs. Well, first of all, what I really don't like about SLGs is that I hardly ever get to see them. They literally are in my bag most of the time, and perhaps they are more in my bag than for other people because I don't think I've ever taken out my wallet, for example, when I've gotten to work. So when I go to work, I have a public transportation card that I use that is in a sort of separate, well, card holder thingy. It's like a thing that you could also just put a badge in, put it around your neck. That is something I really like to use in public transport because when I'm going towards the train or the metro or whatever, I really don't want to be searching my bag for my public transport card. I'm going to be worried all the time about where it is. So I just carry that around my neck. And it might be a bit silly, but it's something that's very practical and that works very well for me. So one SLG I might actually decide to spend money on sometime, but I'm not sure yet because that will get a lot of use, but that is another point. But I might actually get just like a card holder with a lanyard for me to put my public transportation card in and then use that on a daily basis. But losing my line of thought here, the point is that mostly my SLGs will just stay in my bag, especially when it comes to wallet, because when I go to work, I pretty much don't have to pay for anything. I mean, I'm super fortunate, but my coffee and my lunch, everything's been paid for at my office. So the only time I would have to pay for something is if I go out of the office. Frankly, that doesn't happen all of that often. Another thing is that I have Google Pay on my phone. So if I'm paying, I will usually just do that on my phone. It is literally in my bag most of the time. The thing I would take out more is just a pouch that's sort of a catch-all, but those I just want to be as lightweight as possible. So I don't know, perhaps someday I might get like a bigger size of a Le Pliage type of pouch, but for now I'm actually good just wearing these sort of free with purchase cosmetics pouches that I have from Clinique, for example. Again, it is in my bag most of the time and I'm not embarrassed to take it out to get some stuff out of a pouch, at least not right now. So to just wrap up my thoughts here, because most of this stuff would stay in my bag most of the time, it's not something that I really get to enjoy all that much, and therefore it's not something that I want to put a lot of money towards. The second point is that frankly I am really too lazy to switch out of SLGs all the time. I rotate my bags continuously. That is not an issue. I will get, I would say, at the most 4 items out of my bag. So usually a laptop, a smaller pouch, a larger pouch, and perhaps an umbrella, for example, and I will easily toss that into another bag. But I always feel with SLGs like it's too much stuff, it is too fidgety, and I just cannot be bothered. So once I have put my stuff into an SLG, it will stay there for the longest time until at some point I get fed up or I get something new. But again, that doesn't happen all that often. So most of my SLGs are ride or die until the end. Point number 3, SLGs, well, they're under a lot more duress, I would say, than my bags are. So they are getting tossed around. Again, usually like a card holder I will have in a protective pouch. But yeah, I have cards in there. It will get stretched, it will rub up against my keys or other things that are in my bag or in my pouch. I might have to deal with color transfer, and because I'm too lazy to switch in and out of these things, I cannot be bothered with taking care of SLGs. Like, they have to stay in good condition, and if they don't, well then too bad. I will toss them out whenever I feel they are over their lifespan or lifetime or whatever, and I will just toss them out and replace them with something else. With bags, I feel like I can be cautious, but with SLGs, again, I just cannot be bothered. And point number 4, I feel like a lot of the money that people spend on SLGs, or, well, perhaps not people, I mean, if you enjoy spending your money on SLGs, by all means spend your money on SLGs. I know there's a lot of people that get enjoyment out of having a matching SLG with their bag, or because they do take out their wallet 10 times a day to pay for things when they're running errands. I mean, it's all perfectly fine, right? But for me personally, with all of the things that I've mentioned before, like, they will suffer a lot of wear and tear. I don't really get to see them, all that kind of stuff. I feel like personally my money is just better spent on a handbag, because that is something that you do actually get to see, and handbags are something that I will get a lot of longevity out of. So if I am to spend a couple of hundreds of euros, or perhaps even more, because like Chanel SLGs, for example, or MS SLGs, they will easily approach like 1,000. That is money I rather put towards a handbag than towards a wallet, for example, or towards a pouch. And then the final point, which is that SLGs kind of, well, I wouldn't say they all look the same to me, but SLGs tend to have a lot of things in common. They tend to look very similar, and honestly, because of that, it also doesn't really appeal to me all that much. Like, a card holder is a card holder, and they can have some nifty detailing here with, well, this from Bottega, with the intricato, for example. It's a nice detail. Or this bill pouch from Saint Laurent, which has like the YSL logo on it, but usually it's just a square thingy, because it also needs to have some functionality, right? A bill pouch is a bill pouch, and a card holder is a card holder, and a zippy coin is a zippy coin, and a full-size wallet is a full-size wallet. And besides, well, colors and materials and logos, which do give it a lot of variation, obviously, but there's not all that much that gets me excited about SLGs. Like, I get excited about bags because they have odd shapes, or they have a sagginess to them. I feel like usually bags just have a lot more personality to them, if that makes sense, while SLGs are these perhaps pretty but mostly fairly functional things. But you do see that I have a couple of SLGs here, so let me just briefly discuss why I got these and how they are working for me. First of all, I've been sort of playing around with this card holder. This is a card holder from Bottega. I got this recently. I think I've been using it for about 2 weeks now. Honestly, when I got it, I found it really hard to get my cards in and out of. That is still the case, and I think to some extent that makes sense, because if it was already easy to get your cards in and out of, perhaps after a little while your cards would just end up falling out. And I do notice now that since it's been holding my cards for a couple of weeks, if I just have one card in there, it's very easy to take it in and out. But if I'm using the full 6 slots on this card holder, it is very, very hard to take my cards in and out of. And again, I don't really mind, because mostly my cards also stay in my card holder. But if you're interested in this card holder, perhaps it's good to know it also has this pocket in between that I usually just put some cash in. So why did I get this? Well, I have to say I got this because I was curious about the intricato. I might consider getting a bag from Bottega once. Not 100% sure, by the way, if I'm saying intricato right. So in case I'm not, I'm sorry, I'm not going to edit it out or record this video again. Anyway, I was interested in seeing what this braided detailing was about, and I ended up getting just like really super cheap. I got it from this website called Best Secret. I think these retail for 220. It was already discounted to 99 euros, and I had built up some credit with this store. So I think eventually I paid less than 35 euros for this. So for that type of money, I figured it would be nice to have a piece from Bottega. Just give it a try. And in that sense, it will be a good test to see how this holds up, because as I already said, I'm just tossing it in my bag. It will have to stand the test of time. And depending on how long this wallet will actually last, I hope I can get an idea of how long a bag would actually last from a tag. So that is the card holder. Then this is not really a luxury or a contemporary item, but I think it would still be nice to mention. This is a card holder from Secret. This one with like a mechanism that your cards will just pop out of the card slot over here. It also has a leather wrap around this, so this was a special edition with the Bijenkorf. It is a luxury retailer in the Netherlands, and because it was a special edition, of course at some point in time it went on sale. I thought it was a nice detail, so I got it. I used this for some time. Eventually I decided to switch out of this because frankly I don't really need all of this space, which is weird because this holds 6 cards and now I'm also using a 6-slot card holder. But yeah, the Bottega they only had in the 6 slots and I just wanted to get this, so now I'm back to 6 cards. But at some point in time this was not really working all that well for me anymore. This will fit 6 cards. You can put some cash or additional cards here in the wrap around the card holder, but I just found it to get pretty bulky, honestly, and that's when I decided to switch to card holder at some point in time. So yeah, not luxury. I think usually these things retail, I want to say around 60 euros, depending on the material. They also have them without the wrap around it. Those will be cheaper. I mean, they are very decent quality and they last forever, so I don't know, perhaps at some point in time I will switch back into this. It also protects your cards very well, and I think it also has the RFID protection, so nothing wrong with this thing, but I just kind of got over it at some point in time and switched to card holders. Then I have this Longchamp coin purse. Honestly, it's super cute, and that's the reason why I got it, just because it was cute. But frankly, I also got it because I got it on a discount, so it was quite cheap. I think it was around 20 euros, and yeah, it was just too cute. I couldn't resist it. But frankly, I have never used this, so it's still in brand new condition. I don't know, perhaps I should at some point just start using this as a sort of pouch. But yeah, usually the smallest pouch that I would use would be one that also can contain a card holder. And well, I think even if I would have a smaller card holder, that will still be a very tight squeeze. So I have to think of whether this will have a purpose for me outside the house ever. I mean, I could put like hair bands in here or perfume samples, or I don't know, I could figure an internal or inside the house use for this, but frankly I've never used it. And then moving on to this last one over here, my YSL bill pouch in this typical Saint Laurent sort of caviar leather. It has a like compartment here, slip pocket here at the front, and then it has a zippered compartment, zippered main compartment. Unfortunately, this is one that I've also never ever used, and perhaps I should consider selling this one, to be honest, or at least at some point in time. I got this at a time where Saint Laurent was still part of the discounts, so I got it for a reasonable price, and honestly when I got it I figured it would be nice to use as a clutch, like when you have a nice evening type of occasion. But honestly I don't really have a lot of these occasions, and because it is just like super flat, it also doesn't really hold a lot. Like, yeah, might be able to squish a phone in. It does have like reasonable length to put like a phone in, for example, or keys or something like that, but I haven't really found an occasion to use it yet. I'm not sure how likely it is that I will have an occasion to use it. What I also don't really like about this pouch, that it has like literally 2 leather tabs on the inside. One that says Saint Laurent and one that has, I think, the authentication code on it. Yeah, it's kind of impossible to show. I think over here you can at least see one of them on the inside. Well, it doesn't really matter, but it also has like 2 leather tabs on the inside, which decrease the usage even further. So, I mean, it is gorgeous. The leather is gorgeous. The craftsmanship is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, it's gorgeous, it's gorgeous. But I don't really have a use case for this, at least not thus far. Also, it doesn't like have any card slots or anything, so it is really a bill pouch. That's also what it is meant to be, but I don't really know how to get a lot of use out of this, so it just sits in its box, in its dust bag, being pretty. And I think when the time is right, I will probably pass this on to somebody who can enjoy it. So that's it for today. I hope you found it useful and or enjoyable. If you have any questions for me, feel free to drop them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. Remember, for now, there's a styling situation and a taste for everything, so don't judge. Wear whatever the bag or SLG you like. Until next time, or as we would say in Dutch, doei!